Tonight, the U.S. eases some of the Leahy law sanctions against the RSLPF. The National Security Minister basked in the success of talks with the U.S. on restoring some funding and training. And an armed thief on the prowl is caught on camera. The details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday, the 18th of June, 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The 10-year hiatus of not receiving training, equipment, or funding from the U.S. due to the imposition of the Leahy law following alleged extrajudicial killings is over. Selected areas of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force will now be eligible for security assistance from the U.S. The announcement came on Friday as a joint security briefing was held between the U.S. and St. Lucia. The United States Ambassador to Barbados and the OECS says this is the first step in restarting its security partnership with St. Lucia.
St. Lucia has been left out of meaningful assistance from the United States since 2013, after the U.S. suspended assistance to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force following the death of 12 people between 2010 and 2011, believed to be extrajudicial killings. That ban has cost St. Lucia vital training and equipment needed to properly conduct its work. In a remarkable turnaround on Friday, the United States Ambassador to Barbados and the OECS announced that moving forward, it would be giving support to various areas in the force, including the Marine and Immigration units.
After years of review that included consultations across the United States government agencies, as well as coordination with St. Lucia, we have been able to identify a number of Royal St. Lucian Police Force units with which we will be able to resume full cooperation and assistance. This means that those units, such as the Marine and Immigration units, will again be able to enjoy the full benefits of United States security assistance that we are planning to begin as we speak. These units will be eligible for security assistance like that provided through the United States Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. This initiative seeks to reduce illicit trafficking in the region, advance public safety, and promote social justice.
An important part of the process, she says, is to ensure full accountability on the allegations of extrajudicial killings. The U.S. continues to call for the credible investigation and accountability in these cases in order to broaden cooperation to all units. Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy says the move by the U.S. is well-timed.
With increased criminality and other criminal activities, sophisticated crimes, the police force needs to receive continuous training and also modern equipment to help the fight against this crime. Transnational organized crimes, including the cybercrime, human trafficking, money laundering, and firearms and the drug trade, it needs to be under control to make individuals and the country on the whole safe. We are pleased that Your Excellency has announced the lifting of certain conditions of the Leahy imposition and has agreed that certain departments in the force will be receiving further assistance.
Prime Minister Alan Chastanet says his administration is committed to a swift resolution to the investigations.
This administration will continue to provide all the support necessary to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, which is charged with investigations into the allegations of wrongdoing. We're also committed to providing all the necessary support to our law enforcement professionals charged with keeping us all safe. As an administration, we have showed this commitment in many ways, and our citizens' safety remains of top priority. We've provided the Marine Unit with the necessary capacity to patrol, secure, rescue, and support regional initiatives. Recently, we got 12 new engines for sea vessels for the Marine Unit at our expense. An additional 6 police vehicles were procured just recently. We've been repairing our police stations to enhance their working environment. Our CCTV initiative continues to be rolled out to improve the surveillance of capabilities. We already have 180 cameras, and the goal is to add another 1,800.
Lay law restrictions remain in place on some facets of the police force. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Thank you, Nisha. Now, the National Security Minister has taken a moment to bask in the victory of having some of the Leahy law restrictions lifted, allowing some police units to benefit from U.S. training and funding after a decade of being barred from doing so. Minister Herman Gill Francis says the administration has worked hard to see progress on this matter as promised.
That's what I've been telling you all the time. It's a process. You know, not everything that is within your reach that you can give you a particular date. But we knew that we were in conversations with the Americans. We knew what we were doing. The 25 recommendations made by IMPACTS, at least 20 of them have been implemented. And right now we're trying to look at the Special Investigative Unit. The legislation is before the AG.
Francis says he stands by his comments regarding former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony's handling of impacts, stating that Dr. Anthony burned down a house to kill a bug.
At the end of the day, you heard the ambassador, that the report that the impacts is from the impacts report. That is what happened. And Dr. Anthony had an opportunity, because when he used the impacts people, that was okay. And he could have taken the statements from them and sent it to the DPP. He changed the law himself. And in the law he said that whatever statements that are collected will be sent to the DPP. He said so. You remember that. He said so. But what did he do? He went on radio and television and castigated the police officers. Not only that, but at his Christmas message, he asked the police officers to come out clean and so on. But you can't do that as a prime minister. A man is innocent until proven guilty. Okay, and to have done something like that. That's why I would never have any sort of, well, I'm not going to say respect because I respect Dr. Anthony, but the sort of camaraderie or the sort of influence that I thought he had, I really don't recognize Dr. Anthony anymore.
Minister Francis says the victory might seem small, but it is the first significant success in what has been an uphill battle. He says the U.S. has offered meaningful concessions.
And one of the things I asked before we came to the conference there was the training for the senior officers. And like I mentioned to them, I think myself and Mr. Fregis were the last officers who did the FBI course. I did it in 1997 and Mr. Fregis in 1998. And this is where you would get the sort of training that senior officers need to be able to manage the police force. We've been lacking of that 20 years, and I think it was time. And I got the opportunity for them to say yes, that they will be re-energizing the FBI course for our senior officers.
That was National Security Minister Herman Gill Francis. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet is calling it a monumental milestone for St. Lucia to have restrictions lifted on certain areas of its police force to begin to receive assistance again from the U.S. He says this is in part due to the work that his government has done over the past 5 years to implement the recommendations coming out of the impacts report.
In speaking to the ambassador and even the work that my Attorney General as well as my ambassador in the U.S., they're in a difficult position because Leahy normally is imposed on units and not on the entire country. But once that had happened, to cause any reduction in the Leahy restrictions, not many countries are very successful. So we are actually have achieved something that not many people have been able to achieve. And I'm very proud that we've been able to do it, and I think that that comes because of the mutual respect that we've achieved over the last 5 years in particular.
The Prime Minister says he's particularly proud of his government's ability to carry on with its commitments to St. Lucia and the rest of the region.
We as a government have not rolled over and died, and that we have not in any way neglected our obligations not only to St. Lucia, but to the rest of the region. And despite not having access to, I can't even begin to tell you how valuable the training, the intelligence, as well as resources to help strengthen our police and our different units, a government has stood up and done it. We've not waited. And we've worked with the British, we've worked with the Canadians, we've worked with the Taiwanese, we've worked with many different countries in the meanwhile to try to make up what we're lacking. So at this particular time that we're speaking from a much greater position of strength, and the announcement today of being able to re-engage the U.S., particularly on training and resources for our Marine units, resources and advice and intelligence with regards to immigration. All of these things are invaluable.
The United States ambassador to Barbados and the OECS says the United States is satisfied that progress has been made towards prosecution of the alleged extrajudicial killings. You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. Still to come, a thief is caught on camera in the process of a burglary. What is the fate of Hermangild Francis's campaign following the resignation of 2 campaign managers? And Castries Central candidate Aaron Alexander blasts the SLP's Pandem protests. That and more after the break.